Hello everyone, and welcome to the Use R Conference of 2024. Today, I'll be giving an online talk on the R Consortium's R-based test submission package for FDA evaluation. This is a milestone and a new frontier in R-based regulatory submissions. I am your speaker, Joel Laxamana. I've been in the data science industry for over a decade. As you can see, I've been with Genentech, a member of the Roche Group since 2013 of December to today. As we're all busy with work, I try to balance it out by being outdoors, dabbling in music. I like singing for fun, karaoke that is, getting in a good exercise, and even getting together with family and friends when I can. Here's a picture of myself with my now 6-year-old daughter hanging out at the park. This is what my online talk will be about today. I'll give a bit of background of the R Consortium R Submissions Working Group, our exploration of the open source language-based submission to the FDA, and the current challenges we have overcome through this working group. I'll then review the pilot studies we've worked on, and even share a 2x playback demonstration on how we've submitted the Pilot 3 in eCTD structure and the installation and execution of the submission package from the FDA reviewer's perspective. Now, in order to get patient medicines and treatments out into the market, sponsors submit a comprehensive package of materials to health authorities for the evaluation of a treatment's efficacy and safety. This includes analysis reports, datasets, and even software programs. Health authority reviewers not only review the reports, but also independently reproduce key analysis results. Proprietary software has been widely used on both sides, the sponsor and health authorities like the FDA. Though in this new frontier, there's a growing interest in embracing open source software for these submissions. Here's an overview of the R Submission Working Group within the R Consortium. As you can see, there are many companies across the industry that are keen on the improvement of open source language usage in a regulatory setting. Now, one of the challenges in ensuring reproducibility is providing health authority reviewers with access to the same R package versions, especially when they may not have access to container technology. In this working group, we're able to use RN to overcome a part of this challenge. Additionally, technical challenges arise when submitting R packages that are not publicly available, as the FDA submission gateway only allows compressed files for grouping large datasets. It is important to fit submission into the established FDA file structure, known as eCTD, and make sure that the relevant information is easily accessible to the reviewers. But at the same time, these pilots explore new possibilities of R submissions, which could provide new steps to allow the submission of proprietary R packages. So, here's an overview of the completed Pilot 1, Pilot 2, and Pilot 3 studies using R to submit to the FDA, as well as a Pilot 4 study which is currently in progress. In a nutshell, you'll see that Pilot 1 successfully submitted the R scripts of tables, listings, and figures. Pilot 2 took the R scripts from Pilot 1 to then implement the results in a Shiny R application, outputting the same results, and submitted that package to have the FDA reproduce the Shiny app results on their end. Additionally, Pilot 3 focused on the generation of analysis datasets known as ADAMs using R, then used the TLF scripts from Pilot 1 to re-output the results, sourcing the datasets generated in Pilot 3. Pilot 4 is now exploring the use of container technology for easier reproducibility methods in an FDA submission. So, as Pilot 3 was the most recent submission in the R Consortium R Submissions Working Group, I want to focus a little bit more on the Pilot 3 project scope. In Pilot 1 and Pilot 2, the source data came from already produced ADAM datasets from the CDisco-1 pilot study. In Pilot 3, we were successfully able to regenerate the ADAMs used in Pilot 1 so that we may also submit the ADAM programs in the submission, in addition to the original TLF programs submitted in Pilot 1. We also took the proprietary R package from Pilot 1 and 2 and renamed it to Pilot 3 Utils. We submitted it through the FDA portal in eCTD structure as a .zip compressed folder. In the Pilot 3 Analysis Data Reviewer's Guide, we then included detailed step-by-step instructions on how to install all the R packages needed to run the Pilot 3 analyses, both open source packages and the proprietary Pilot 3 utils package that we submitted as a .zip. After submission, we then let the FDA staff follow the instructions in the ADRG. This led them to successfully reproduce the atoms and corresponding TLGs from the Pilot 3 submission package. And here's the execution team that helped bring this Pilot 3 submission package together. Here is the Pilot 3 data and analysis scope. We used the SDTM data that was still sourced from the CETUS Pilot 1 study. These tabulation models were not generated in the R Consortium at this time. But we did regenerate the 5 analysis datasets or atoms ADSL, ADAE, ADLBC, ADADAS, and ADTTE, which were used to also regenerate the 4 TLF results matching the outputs from Pilot 1. This is the submission package in eCTD structure, where the Module 1 folder included the original cover letter and the analysis results from Pilot 3. In the Module 5 folder, you'll see we submitted SDTM, which was used to source into the Atom programs to regenerate the analysis datasets, where then these analysis datasets were then sourced into the TLF programs, re-outputting the analysis results. With great excitement, after the finalization of our analysis programs, data files, and our step-by-step ADRG, we packaged everything up and successfully completed our initial submission into the FDA portal of the Pilot 3 study. You can see here our first announcement of the successful Pilot 3 submission was on August 28, 2023. After the submission, we did receive FDA feedback where we provided updates to the submission package, then resubmitted on April 19, 2024. This resubmission included the novel approach of submitting the proprietary package using a .zip. The FDA reviewers have given feedback that they were successfully able to install all packages per the steps in the ADRG. A summary of their final feedback will hopefully come around the end of Q2 or the beginning of Q3 of 2024. We were definitely excited to hear this news and grateful to have been part of this experience in pioneering new ways of submitting clinical trials packages using open source R software and programming language. As you all been waiting for, here's a short demo on how to install and execute the Pilot 3 submission package following Section 9 of the ADRG. Feel free to stop, slow down, rewind, or fast forward the video as needed to review any of the steps. And of course, let's get into this demo. Welcome back, and welcome to the demo portion of this online talk. So for my last slide, you should have seen a QR code. This QR code should take you to the ADRG from Pilot 3. The Pilot 3 ADRG is in a GitHub repo where you can go there and download the ADRG to your local computer. So let me go ahead and show you where to get that. So that QR code should have taken you to this GitHub repo. Go ahead and pause the video here so that you can take a look at where to navigate in this repo to get the ADRG. Once you're here, click on download and download it to your local computer. Alright, once you've downloaded the ADRG, go ahead and open up the PDF in the PDF application of your choice and then navigate to Appendix 9 or Section 9 of the ADRG. These are the steps we'll follow to go through in this demo. Now, going through the first step in the ADRG, what we want to do is emulate being an FDA reviewer and downloading the submission package from the FDA portal into our local computer. In this case, for demonstration purposes, let's pretend that we're getting the submission package for Pilot 3 and we're saving it and downloading it into this location. C drive, Pilot 3. In my case, I'm on a Windows computer where all my downloads actually just go to my downloads folder. So for your case, whatever default downloads folder, anything that you download on your computer should be essentially what this folder should be. All right, so like I said, what we want to do is download the Pilot 3 submission package, where if you actually click on this, it should take you back to the main page of this GitHub repo, which I already have here. So in this GitHub repo main page, you'll see that there's the M1 folder and the M5 folder. These are the two folders that we want to begin installing and downloading all the packages we need, then executing the analysis programs. In order to get that, go ahead and go to Code in this page and click on Download Zip so that we can download these folders. So as you can see in my Downloads folder, or for demonstration purposes, Pilot 3 folder, I did get the .zip. I did also download the ADRG from the Pilot 3 repo. And then I already unzipped this zip file and unpacked the contents in this new folder. What we want to do is get the M1 and M5 folder and copy it into a new folder in RStudio. Going down to section 9.1.1, so I want to ensure that the R version and RStudio version that you're using is similar to what we have listed here in the ADRG, so that the reproducibility of all the steps here will indeed flow smoothly. Here we use R version 4.2.3, which can be downloaded here. And also the RStudio version, which we have is from 2023, March 1st, plus 446.pro 1. You can use these links to download both R and RStudio versions appropriately so that you can reproduce everything that we're doing here. Alright, so now that I see my M1 and M5, I'm going to go ahead and just copy those two folders and put them into the Pilot 3 folder, which I've created in RStudio, which in this case, in my Explorer window, I can get to through my documents. And paste. Now going back to RStudio, I should now see in my Pilot 3 folders the M1 and the M5 folder. Now I'm going to create an RStudio project within the Pilot 3 files directory. So in the ADRG, go ahead and follow these steps. Following the steps in the ADRG, I am now in this dialog box where all I have to do is create project to create the Pilot 3 files project. Right, after creating a new project in this existing directory here, creating the new project should now have given you these two new files. Now what we want to do is install all of the R packages we need to run the analyses from Pilot 3. We'll install the packages using renv and also install the proprietary Pilot 3 utils package from this .zip. Alright, so in RStudio, I want you to navigate to this directory here so you get to the programs folder and ensure that you have these two files, rem-lock.txt and pilot3utils.zip. Now we're going to get to these two steps where I want you to install the packages remotes and then install the renv package version 0.170, 0.17.0. After installing the remotes package, I then use the remotes package to install the renv package which we need at version 0.17. And these are then the steps or packages which we'll use to then install the rest of the R packages we need to run the analyses. Now the next step in the ADRG is to ensure that the working directory we're in is at the project level, in which case we should just see it all the way up to the Pilot 3 files working directory, which is indeed our project level. If not, you can use this command to set you to the Pilot 3 projects level. So now what we're going to do is get this rem-lock.txt file. We're going to move it into the Pilot 3 files folder and then rename it so that it just says rem.lock. Now that we follow these steps in the ADRG, we should go to our Pilot 3 files folder and see that it now just says rem.lock. And this is what it looks like. Pilot 3 files, ren.lock. Now let's restart the R session and initialize the R environment. All right, so in order to reinitialize or initialize the R environment, we're going to run this code here, calling the renv package and using the function called init to initialize the R environment. We're going to select option 1, and this will restore the project from the project log file, which is the ren.log file. The ren.log file has a list of all of the packages we've used in this project in order to run the analyses, as you can see here. Alright, so here I am initializing the R environment, where I am going to hit selection 1, press enter. This gives me then the list of all the packages we need to install and the versions that we need them to be in. And here it is installing. Now, if this doesn't work for you, follow the ADRG to resolve any other issues you may run into, which will give you other alternative selections in order to rerun and install the packages. Now, after completing the installation of the packages using renv, let's go ahead and restart your R session. So you'll see here that I did restart the R session, and with the renv installed, pilot 3 files loaded, using renv, all of the packages that we need are installed except for one, and we'll see that when we do run this renv status, which package is indeed out of sync. So let's go ahead and run that. And the finding that we should get is that the pilot 3 utils package has yet to be installed. So we'll install that and go through those steps to get this package ready. So now going through these steps in the ADRG, these steps will then show you how to install the pilot 3 utils package from the .zip that we submitted it as. So go ahead and follow these steps, and we will get to the point where all packages are then installed. So following the steps in the ADRG, I'm now installing packages from a .zip, and I pointed to the .zip that is in the programs folder under the M5. I'm now going to hit install to install the pilot 3 utils package. You can see the package installation of pilot 3 utils was successful. The next step in the ADRG is to now set the paths in order to run the analysis programs. What we're going to follow is the notes that are put in here. So what we want to do is create an Atom Reviewer copy of the Atom folder by renaming it Atom Reviewer. And then in addition to that, what we want to also create is an output folder. And then what we're going to do is run this code from the ADRG. Now you can see in the analysis directory, I've made a copy of this Atom folder, renamed it to Atom Reviewer. I then created a new folder called Output. Now I can run this code in order to create the paths that we need in order to run all of the analysis programs. Go ahead and hit Path or Run. So you can see here, this is now saved into a list called Path, where all of these folders should now be able to be referenced as we reference them in the analysis programs. So the last and final step is to now go to the Atom Reviewer folder under Programs and execute all of these programs one by one and in this specific order. So as you can see here, I reran all of the programs from ADSL, ADAE, ADADAS, ADLBC, ADTTR, the demographic table, efficacy table, the KM plot, and the primary end table. So after rerunning, my time slot today is indeed around 3:50 on June 20th, 2024, and you can see everything was indeed refreshed with today's date as far as the datasets go. Now if we go back out, into the output folder. This output folder should then have generated all the outputs from the TLF programs, which we now see here. TLF demographic, efficacy, KM-plot, and primary, all run with this timestamp. So now you can open each one and review it against the pilot 3's TLF, which if you go back to pilot 3, M1, M5, report TLF, all the analyses we did here will show up in this PDF, and what you've run should then match the results that are in this PDF right here.